and also, that he goes off and sometimes he abandons the yogic life of living in the caves and then goes back to it again and so on. So there was generally people were attracted to him because it wasn't, he had difficulties that people could relate to in terms of following the teachings. But I think they were kind of more exaggerated as time went by, and but he was still quite a volatile person, I think.
I can relate to that too. So what makes you interested particularly in that story?
Well, one, it had the biography had not been published, so the other ones hadn't been. And also it was kind of intriguing because he appears in the life of Milarepa and you never quite found out what happened to him. You just see him having all these arguments with his guru and sometimes leaving when he's asked not to leave, and when he wants him to finally go, he won't go, and so on. So it was intriguing to find out what happened to him in the end, and which turned out to be, he was a big master with lots of pupils, but also to try and find out the back. It seemed an anomaly that he could be so difficult and yet supposed to be so enlightened. So it was interesting to see how that character kind of evolved over time as a narrative device, really.
Sounds really interesting and complicated. So, as we all are actually, I guess. So it's just simple human. And
I'm working on a book of translations, which is about Tantra and Mahamudra and the Kagyu for the Tibetan Classics Library. So Wisdom is putting them out with one volume in various schools, each on various schools of Buddhism. So I'm doing the Kagyu one. So I'm a bit behind. But so I'll be running back home tonight to try and burn the midnight oil.
It's enormous work. I mean, it's really endurance, and you have to stick to it. And it's amazing that you get all of us practically the knowledge, and we can expose to that. That's really unbelievable. And just when I think the Tibetan language, you don't speak it very often. Do you do?
No, only how often? So in next Thursday I'll be off to translate for a Lama, so I'll be speaking then. And about 2 weeks ago I was with some Lamas, so I'll be spending a lot of time in the next 3 months translating with a Lama, various Lamas.
That alone holds you back in your translation
Yes.
for the book, I imagine, because
yeah.
those are also important, and then you have to jump out, go back, and then that makes it for sure not so easy. So it's unbelievable.
Plate spinning. Is it like plate spinning, running from one to the other, isn't it? The analogy. And I'm sure some of them are about to fall to the ground and shatter, unfortunately.
Yeah, you must be really occupied, and that makes me more thankful that you came, because it's really an honor to have you here, and I really appreciate that you came. And then you are working on so many ideas, and then I heard about that you are doing screenwriting as well, so I assume that you would like to have some of those ideas and all the stories that you're reading and translating and getting practically exposed to, that you would like to share that with the public. So you would like to put it out as what?
Well, actually, no, I don't. And maybe they come in subliminally, But I'm just, writing various different kinds of movies, so actually none of them had to do specifically with Tibet. So occasionally, slight reference will come in. So so there's probably more in there than I realize, but it's not. They're not specifically. So it's like a horror comedy is the latest one that's hopefully is filming quite soon. But
yeah, that would be my next question, actually. What do you think? Which one of your ideas could be? Because I know there are thousands of screenplays written, and they never been even read, because it's so much out there, and it's not too many get the chance to ever be made a film of and produced. And what would be on your heart? Which idea of topic of your screenplay that you would like to have published or have it really seen as a movie?
Oh, which one of my?
Yeah. So.
Oh, let's see. Well, there are a few. I mean, I did do a screenplay from Marcel Proust's In Search of Lost Time, so I'd really like to see that in the cinema. Probably if somebody, it's not particularly the most, kind of commercial idea, really. But I love that. I love those books, Marcel Proust's In Search of Lost Time, and yes, it even has a little bit of about selflessness in it too, which is quite interesting.
Very important. It's very good. And then you mentioned something really coming out as a movie, hopefully soon. Some horror or something?
Yeah.
Tell me, what is that? I am very interested about that. How we get from a Tibetan translator and a really Lama talking person to that.
Like movies, so I've watched lots of movies with Tibetans, and so they love movies, and so do I. Not particularly Dharma movies or anything, just movies. So they're very most Tibetans are very fond of them, and same here. So this next one may be filming in Canada. It's arranging now.
So the Tibetans, I get this now, very interesting. So Tibetans are not all the time meditating,
No.
and not all the time in caves and all this stuff, but they like to watch our movies that we also, wow, I like that. Good, I don't feel so bad that I'm a movie junkie, so that's good.
I remember there was a Lama's cottage in Scotland. I used to wonder, I wonder what's going on there. I'd walk past at night and curtains are closed, and I think, maybe they're just levitating and talking all sorts of philosophy. And then eventually, when I started translating, I spent the nights in with them, because what we did was sit and watch TV.
What was on?
They used to really like quiz shows, and The Price is Right. They love Price is Right, and they'd be looking there and saying,
so that makes Lamas more human now. Very good. I like that.
Watch, who won and things like that. Yeah.
I never would have think of. That's great.
Conjuring magic shows. Love those too. Usually they show something, Charlie Chaplin, when I first arrived in Nepal, what they were showing all the young monks was the Evil Dead. was playing in the monastery. So they like that too. And
that's great. Loosening up, having fun. Very nice. Really nice. That's really nice. That's I never would have think about that. I'm telling you, very honest.
And a very sweet Lama spent 15 years in retreat, and Kalachakra master, and I spent some time with him, and they would get up at like 3 a.m, and meditate for 6 hours. But I think Friday nights in the monastery, they always got a bit late to bed because of the all-in wrestling. No, what do you call it? The wrestling, with Hulk Hogan and all that kind of thing. So that's like their favorite thing to watch. So I was traveling with them in Puerto Rico. I'd go to the DVD store and find, all the whatever FWA or whatever it's called, And
that's very interesting. So you saying you spent some time in Tibet yourself?
Not much in Tibet itself, just mostly in Indian, Tibetan monasteries in Nepal, India. So Tibet only once actually, but that was with with some ambassadors and stuff. So it's more of a political visit.
What was your impression of the Tibetan life? What was your impression?
And I've been in Bhutan too. So Bhutan is that is a country that's quite independent and rules itself, and which is probably how Tibet may have been like if it hadn't been. It was went to a lot of various official meetings and visiting monasteries and so on. So it was hard to but did visit some villages too. So, life is quite, I think, difficult for a lot of people. It's quite poor, and particularly in the rural areas. I think life is quite hard. But that was one main impression, I think.
So life is poor, life is simple, hard. But do you think it's with our eyes, with the measure of our West culture and how we live? Or do you think those people are simple and nice, actually happy in their life as they are?
Well, no, I don't know. Someone did say, it was hard. They were often hungry, and so it was difficult. And they didn't want their children to have the same life as they did. Their hope was they'd be able to get an education and get somewhere.